Laura Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lean.
Hello. Good morning, everyone, or afternoon, evening, wherever part of the world that you are streaming in from. Welcome to our live stream. Hello, chat. Good morning. I see Fran, Martin. Let me just adjust my chair here. Good morning, everyone. Where are you all coming in from? Let me know. It seems like, I've got a lot of my Americans here. Good morning, Walter. It's been a while, Walter. How are you? Maybe you've come on every week, but I haven't paid so much attention to chat. But Walter is an amazing trader, and I'm so glad he's in the room today. Good morning, Peter, Martin, Attaboy, Brisbane, Australia, Bobby. Hello, Peter from Switzerland. So pretty much every corner of the world. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. It seems like we're in a never-ending loop when it comes to this Middle East conflict. It's a movie that just, the scenes are just replaying themselves over and over again. And that's playing a very big role in the markets, which we will talk about today. But before I begin, what are you guys trading? It seems, are you trading indices, gold, Forex? The dollar is catching a little bit of a safe haven bid. It had come off, I think, 8 straight days of losses at one period earlier this month. It was catching a little bit of a safe haven bid. Stock futures are lower this morning, but as you all know, we are well off the lows. Stock futures had opened down very sharply. I think the Dow had opened down over 600 something, 600 points. We are now only down about 200 points in Dow futures. Oil prices are up 5%, but oil prices has shot all the way up to $89 a barrel. So it seems like, we had big gaps at the Asia Open, which is not a surprise, but we also had, some meaningful recoveries. I often said that gaps like to be filled, and we haven't quite filled the gap that we had in Asia, but it seems like it wants to be getting there. And that's the kind of bifurcated market that we are in right now, which is that we have a lot of geopolitical uncertainty, but the market is hopeful. And that hope is limiting the slide in stocks and capping the moves in oil. At the end of the day, let's go to the charts. Hold on. Let me share with you my screen. Let's go to the charts. 1 second. I'm going to share with you my screen. Share screen. Okay, we're going to share my screen. All right. So we are looking at the charts, and you can see this is oil. Oil, I'm going to remove my indicators. Oil on this chart, this is a daily chart that goes all the way to March. We are much closer to the lower right-hand corner than the upper right-hand corner. Oil prices, even with the latest escalation, is where? It's below $90 a barrel. And that is probably the most important thing, which is that we are below $90 a barrel. And as long as we hold below $90 a barrel, investors will be kind of hopeful that the worst is behind us in terms of the global economic impacts. Not necessarily in terms of the Middle East war, that remains to be seen, but perhaps the global economic impact, because oil prices is the main consequence of the US-Iran war on many other countries around the world. Sounds like many of you are trading gold, NASDAQ, Forex, a lot of NASDAQ traders, some dollar CAD traders. What's really interesting is that dollar CAD, look at this. Oil prices is at the lower right-hand corner. Dollar CAD is also at the lower right-hand corner. You would think that lower oil prices is bearish for the Canadian dollar, so we should be up here. But instead, it seems like, the dollar CAD is moving in lockstep with oil prices. And we'll kind of break all of that down. But the most important thing is, this kind of movement here. I mean, I want, those of you on chat, I want you to type in why you think we gap down, but we're only down 200 points in the Dow. Why do you think that's the case? I mean, we had some pretty substantial developments over the weekend. Friday stocks hit record highs because everyone thought the war was over. But, the U.S. attacked an Iranian ship. Now they've seized that Iranian ship. And President Trump has said, that he's sending negotiators to Pakistan for a meeting on Tuesday. But if Iran does not agree to what he thinks is a really good deal, that they are going to basically I don't want to say double down, but they're going to get much more aggressive and target critical infrastructure, including power plants and bridges. None of that is good. Some of you saying that negotiations are the reason, but at the same time, Iran said that, they're not going to attend the negotiations in Pakistan. So if Iran doesn't attend and the U.S. is the only one that attends, what kind of negotiations can you really have, right? So as Ushud said, the second round of peace talks are not scheduled yet. So,
sorry, guys, to break in. Latest news is that it's not clear yet, but they did suggest that they are coming to the second round of talks. So it's uncertain as to whether they are coming or not. But the latest news is they said they are coming. So we'll see if that's going to be true.
Well, I mean, what's really interesting about that, we're going to put up ProX and says that, where does it say? We had Canadian CPI. Where's this?
I saw it on Zero and
let's see, Zero Hedge.
I think AP.
So Zero Hedge. Maybe if you can find that headline.
Okay, let me,
because I have not seen that headline yet. But here, Investing.com says Iran willing to attend second round of talks with the U.S.
Yeah.
This just happened, I guess an hour ago. So hold on, where's my charts? So yes, perhaps, they're willing to attend, but at the end of the day, it's one step forward, two steps back. And, actions speak a lot louder than words. And the attack on the Iranian ship is a clear action. And the most important thing for all of you to know is that April 21st is when the U.S.-Iran ceasefire that began on April 7th will end. So the big question on the markets is, will it end and then military action will now follow? Or will it end and be extended? Or will it end with a lot of threats flying both ways? That's really what I'm watching, because yes, Iran and US could meet in Pakistan tomorrow, but the language from both sides, I think we all agree that a deal is not quite there yet, because Iran, even as early as this morning, said that they're so far apart on so many different things, and most importantly, on the nuclear aspect of things, that they don't believe in the seriousness of the U.S. and having negotiations. If you really, really think about it, my friends in chat, if you really, really think about it, Iran said that they would allow ships last week to pass through. So it was an act of goodwill to try to really end the war, and the markets were really, really excited about that. But the U.S. maintained the blockade, and so that is what really infuriated Iran, because the U.S. maintained the blockade, even though Iran tried to take an act of goodwill and allow ships through. So you've got to see concessions, clear concessions, actions on both sides for really this to end. So I have long said that I stopped, it's hard, I'm not a geopolitical analyst and I don't strive to be at all. I don't, it's not something that I really want to be. But I think the base case is that, the negotiations are probably gonna be a couple more weeks before we get a real deal. Maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 more weeks before we get a real agreement or a deal. And that, there could be more military action before that happens. So, taking a look at the charts, stocks, they hit record highs last week. We've got an inside candle today. And based upon the headlines, there's a possibility that we could see, this drop lower before we get any sort of second leg higher. And, knowing President Trump, he is very much motivated by the markets. And, the record highs were over here, but he was very much motivated by the markets. And now that the markets are record high, certainly there's scope to allow it to fall, get his friends, to come in, to buy, and then have another leg higher. So given the extent of this rally, there's room for correction and room for hard language, in my opinion, by the Trump administration on Iran before he tries to talk it up again. So just from a price action perspective, there's a lot that could happen here. But most importantly for us as traders, the most important thing is that oil prices are at $87 a barrel. They're below 90. They're below 90. I mean, 90 is a very significant level. They're below $90 a barrel. And as long as we hover below $90 a barrel, that supports the stock market. It supports consumers. So, that is part of the reason why we have not seen a more aggressive sell-off in the equity markets. We have not seen a more aggressive sell-off in equities because oil prices, because you got to watch oil. Oil and stocks are moving lockstep. If you're trading NASDAQ, you're trading dollar, you got to be watching oil. Gold is moving with equities. Equities are lower today. Gold is lower. But as you see on the short-term charts, gold is also off its lows. And interestingly enough, gold closed the gap, whereas some of the other instruments didn't close the gap at all. But gold is moving in lockstep with oil. So this week, taking a look at the CME Fed Fund futures, for those of you that are just joining us, the way, typically on Mondays, I walk you through the game plan for the week ahead. And then Boris comes in and he live trades the US market open with you. So it's kind of, a 1-2 punch where you get the setup, the pre-market play for the week, along with actual, trading indices, as well as trading commodities around the New York Open. So right now, we're just going through the market outlook, and then Boris will come in and live trade with you. So make sure you stay for it all. So CME Fed Fund futures, the market is right now, we're at 3.5 to 3.75%. The next meeting is next week for the Fed. The market is not expecting any type of rate cut from the Fed at all. If we fast forward to June, the market's also not pricing in any rate cut. The fall in September, market's pricing in a 23%, 125 basis point rate cut, which is really not that significant. And then by the end of the year, there's still a 58% chance of no rate change, and only about a 42% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut. So the market has not fully priced in one interest rate cut by the Fed this year. And the reason why I'm saying this is because that is different, right? I mean, that is different from where we were in the beginning of the year, where the market was pricing in one full interest rate cut by the Fed, maybe even two. And yet the dollar has fallen. So there's certainly scope for a dollar recovery, at least from an interest rate perspective this week. This drop in the dollar, this stretch, which is basically 8 straight days of losses in the dollar, was the longest drop in the dollar index in 15 years. Can you believe that? This drop is the longest drop in 15 years. So yeah, we could have a little bit of a recovery, especially since the main piece of data this week is going to be the U.S. retail sales report. U.S. retail sales is due tomorrow. So U.S. retail sales is due tomorrow. Give me 1 second. Let's talk about that. U.S. retail sales is due tomorrow, and the market is looking for a very, very good U.S. retail sales number. They're looking for consumer spending to double in the month of March. Why? Well, there's a lot of leading indicators for non-farm payrolls that we look at. And, first off, if you look at, I like to look at trading economics. If you look at U.S. non-farm payrolls, you may remember the last non-farm payrolls number wasn't that bad. The last non-farm payrolls number was actually quite good. We had a huge jump. It was actually the largest increase that we've seen in non-farm payrolls since December of 2024. So pretty big jump in non-farm payrolls that could foster spending. Average hourly earnings growth slowed, but the most important, one of the biggest reasons is gas prices. Whenever I look at retail sales, one of the big components is gas prices. And many of you may know gas prices, which is the green line is current. The black line is 2 years ago. The blue line is 1 year ago. So really only care about the green line. And the green line, as you can see, gas prices surged in the month of March, significantly. So gas prices were up, auto sales were up, non-farm payrolls were up, and these are all the reasons why the market thinks that retail sales could surprise to the upside. Now, X autos and gas, it may not be so good, but if we do get a solid retail sales report, that could foster a little bit more recovery in the dollar. So if we get a safe haven bid in the dollar, we get good US data, that could foster a bit more of a recovery in the greenback. Aside from that, Japan, we just had this terrible earthquake in Japan. And one of my friends earlier said that, Japan the yen is not acting as a safe haven asset. And you're absolutely right. The yen is not acting as a safe haven asset because, on a trade basis, Japan has got a lot of, trade is deteriorating and it's got a lot of issues that it's dealing with. We just had an earthquake in Japan. There's tsunami warnings and a little bit of, high wave action. But the real reason is because Japan and China are in the midst of a, very public spat. And, I think it was, saw a headline this morning here. Japan moves to basically bans local governments from using Chinese IT products. And as you know, there's a lot of Chinese IT products out there. And, Japan is banning that. And we also have, China warning against, joint US, Philippines, and Japan drills. There's a lot. China sends warships to the Pacific as Japan tensions grow. We are all focused on Iran and the US, but the tensions between Japan and China, which, China has been one of Japan's largest trading partners, is souring significantly. And that is playing a big role in the pain that is happening in Japan. And so the yen, is very weak. That is going to cause inflationary pressures. It's going to help the Japanese economy. But with, all of these tensions and things like that, between the US and China and Japan, I don't think that it is difficult to understand why the yen is so weak, because, while we're all focused on US and Iran, there's a lot of problems happening between China and Japan. And as Fred said, China is completely discouraged as tourists. Let's see, China, while it may be the cheapest in decades for Americans to visit, the Chinese tourism has fallen 50 to 60% this year. And Chinese tourism plays a very, very big role in the tourism in Japan. So Japan is getting hit from so many different sides. And the fact that it's getting hit from so many different sides explains why the yen is so weak. And then now we have this terrible earthquake that's happening. Usually, hopefully those impacts are short-lived, but it explains why it's having a difficult time. The yen is having a difficult time rallying. With that said, though, it is clear lower highs, lower lows, right, my friends? You can see lower highs, lower lows happening here. And so it does suggest we could drip lower in the yen, kind of drip lower. And I think it will happen that we'll start to drip lower in the yen. And yes, the expansionary fiscal policies may be a reason too. I'm glad that the tsunami warning was downgraded to a watch. It's pretty terrible what's happening. But we could see the dollar yen drip lower because from a technical perspective, because we're getting lower highs, lower lows. So taking a step back, for those of you that are just joining us, stock futures are lower, but the April 21st, which is tomorrow, the U.S.-Iran ceasefire ends. So the question is, will it be military action immediately? Will it be an extended ceasefire, which probably will be the case? Or will it be, kind of a permanent ceasefire, which I think is very, very unlikely? Is probably going to be number two, but number one also has serious risk because we've already seen military action take place. So April 21st, tomorrow's a very big day. We've got U.S. retail sales. We've got the possible U.S.-Iran talks in Pakistan, and we have the U.S.-Iran ceasefire ending. So Tuesday is a huge day in the markets. At least, but right now it seems like there's still hope in the markets, but the language, I haven't checked, Truth Social lately this morning, but, let's see. What are we getting on Truth Social? I do not need to know about gum disease. All right, talking about the economy, so nothing more on Iran. Although, don't forget, the tariffs are still very much in place. That's going to come back. The last thing was the cargo, basically President Trump patting himself and the U.S. Marines on the back for, attacking Tuska, the Iranian cargo ship. So we haven't heard anything else besides that on Truth Social. But, stocks are going to trade cautiously. They are off their lows. I kind of think, I don't think they're going to turn positive today. It would be pretty remarkable if stocks turned positive. But, right now, actually the best thing to do would be to show you this is the BK trend meters. The BK trend meters will show you, exactly what's going on right now. So you get a sense of where, and you can see the BK trend meters are going to pop up in a second. And I don't know why it's not loading properly, but let me see if I can move this to the lower right. But you can see something's wrong with it. But this is the 5-minute. Let me reload my charts. But you can see most of it's turning green on the Dow. And the fact that it's turning green on the Dow indicates that the trend is up. And therefore, you've got to if I can get these meters up, you'll see how helpful they are. But basically, the trends meters, they give you a sense of, what the general direction of the market did. On the 5-minute basis is NASDAQ, but we're going to go back to MNQ stocks. With stocks, it's all green on the screen, even on a 5-minute basis. So until we start to get some of these flash red, this is multiple time frame at a glance. Everyone loves multiple time frame analysis. It's hard to be watching all of these charts, all of these time frames at the same time. So the BK trend meters help you see even if you're trading on a 5-minute, 2-minute chart, or a daily chart, a 4-hour chart, a 1-hour chart, you can get a sense of, has the trend shifted on a short-term basis? What is the trend on a long-term basis? And for NASDAQ right now, the short and long-term trend is bullish. So you can't be fading this move. You can't be fading this move, this recovery in the NASDAQ until you get some of this turning red. Because right now the trend is also very, very strong. I don't want to be positive either, but until the trend shifts, you can't shift either. And why is it happening? It's because oil prices. This is a 5-minute chart. We were already down earlier. I said it was only up 5%, but now oil prices even gapped down. Probably could be related to some of the headlines that we saw. I don't see if we have any new headlines, but let me go to the financial juice, but it
So
seems
we have
like
we have a new headline here. Senior Iranian official to Reuters: Iran is positively reviewing participation in peace talks with the U.S. No final decision has been made yet. We popped on that. That was just hit a second ago.
so. NASDAQ is moving. Equities are moving in lockstep with oil, and so if you're trading MNQ, you've got to be watching oil. Because that tick for tick, it's almost, what's happening. And same thing with dollar yen. If you're trading dollar yen or euro dollar, if oil drops, basically, let's get this going here. I need to change this font color. Here's your rule of thumb. If oil drops, it's good for stocks. MNQ, NASDAQ, ES. It is good for euro dollar, bearish for dollar yen. And then in some ways, in this weird market, it actually ends up being good for gold as well. Even though it's really not supposed to be. But, I rather take the pure view of trading, stocks to the upside or current euro dollar to upside based upon the oil drop. So, of course, oil rally would be the complete opposite. If oil rallies, it would be bearish for stocks. And so, and good. So this is basically, you want to be selling NQES if oil rallies and buying dollar yen and selling euro dollar. That's basically the rule of thumb. As you're watching the markets. So as I said, for euro dollar, the short-term trend is still, there's a lot more green on the screen than red. So still suggests to me that, I'm be looking for opportunities to buy rather than opportunities to sell. So how can you get these BK trend meters? You get them completely free if you use our code EDGE for any of the major prop firms. We've got some huge discounts going on right now. For example, Ola Prime, they're running as much as 45% off if you use the code EDGE.
I just put the link for Ola in the
and you can see this on their socials. They're a great firm if you want to be trading CFDs with. Where's their social? If you want to be trading CFDs like dollar yen, euro dollar, gold CFD, they're a great firm to be trading with. Code EDGE gives you up to it gives you 30% off. Right now, they're running a sale, which I guess is not really up here. We also have Apex Trader Funding. Apex Trader Funding, if you use the BK Save code, gives you 90% off right now. And you can email us your receipt and get access to the BK Trend Meters. Tradeify, the top 3 futures firms are Apex, Lucid, and Tradeify. Tradeify is running 40% off with code EDGE. And Lucid is running 50% off your first 2 accounts, 40% off your next 5 accounts with code EDGE as well. So definitely check them out. These are our sponsors, our favorite prop firms. I also want to share with you, Boris wants to shed some light. There's a brand new prop firm that we're working with called Prop Shop Trader. They are a stock prop firm, which is really interesting. And they're actually kind of developed by the firm that started Tickmill, by the owner of Tickmill, which is a huge charting package. So it's not a fly-by-night shop, Tickblaze, not Tickmill, Tickblaze, which is a huge charting package. And you can get 50% off if you're interested in trading stock prop with Prop Shop with the code EDGE. So lots of great stuff there. All of this gives you access to the BK trend meters, SMA, EMA. Email us your receipt. We'll activate them for you. Those are our sponsors. So, check them out. And Boris will share more about them, as he goes through his live trading. Any questions for me in the meantime? Oh, by the way, don't let me forget. Every single one of you, I want you to register for Prop Trader Fest. It's on May 9th. We've got, some of the biggest, traders out there speaking, like Nick Leeson, the original Rogue Trader. They did a movie on him called The Rogue Trader. Maybe you've watched it. Linda Raschke, we got the top female traders in the world. Linda Raschke, she was in Jack Schwager's Market Wizard book. Marcy Silfran is the #2 World Cup champion of futures trading right now. We have Marianne Rushdie, who is an amazing trader for Tradeify, Lumi Traders, Salma. She won Ninja Trader Arena Cup winner. So we have some of the best female traders in the world. Also, Rob Hoffman, 37-time international trading champion, Austin Silver, Tyler G, Logan from Max Options Trades. So many amazing traders who will be speaking to you at our next Prop Trader Fest on May 9th. Every trader is donating the time. Every prop firm will be giving away prop challenges, and every replay that you purchase will support Project Healthy Minds. 100% goes to charity. I want you to register for free right now. Click on the register free button, put your name, let us know whether you traded prop before, what you traded, and then sign up. And that's it. And we'll let you know all the details as we get closer to the event. So I want every single one of you to do that right now. Go to proptraderfest.com, sign up, tell your friends. We worked really hard to put this event together. Last time we raised money for St. Jude's and Hope for Warriors. This time is Project Healthy Minds in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. So please join us, traders, for a good cause. And also, empowering you with incredible knowledge from, 20 speakers at our event. So please join us. All right. Any questions? How many accounts do you have to buy? You just got to buy one account. You don't have to use them. You have to use our code EDGE for all the other prop firms except for Apex, which you have to use BK Save. All right. Any other questions? PropTraderFest.com. I expect to see all of you there. It's going to be an incredible event. Our last one got really, really great feedback. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Boris is here with us. He's gonna go into live trading. So I'm gonna pass it on to Boris.
Okay, let me just switch around my my stuff here. Okay, let me see if you guys are seeing me. Okay, whoa, what's going on over here? Are you guys seeing my screen? Let me just make sure you guys are seeing my screen. Why is this going multiple?
Boris, you have your StreamYard screen up, not just look at the screen.
I know. Hold on. I gotta do a max screen cap. I gotta do the other one. Hang on.
Okay, we'll let Boris fiddle around and figure it out. I think he's got it. Great.
I got it. Okay. All right. Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. I have so much stuff to tell you. So much cool stuff to tell you. I'm putzing around a little bit with trade right now in this off the spike into the the positive news on the Iranian attending us. I'm going to explain to you. Let me see. We'll see if this particular trade works. I want to. Good morning. Blurry though? Why is it blurry? I see clear. Everybody sees clear?
I see clear on blurry too. That's what I typed is blurry, and Ben says he sees blurry too. There we go. Now you're clear.
Okay.
Now you're good.
Maybe it was just StreamYard coming in a little bit. Okay. All right. Good. All right. Should be clear by now, right, guys? Okay. Okay. So I want to. I'm going to put in a link. I redid the whole dots guide for you guys, and I want to take you to it. Hang on a second. Let me put it in here because I want to show you everything, all the data that I back tested to give you incredible information. If you go over here into KISS, the raw performance, this will tell you hour by hour scalping performance of the very, very latest, very simple, very easy to use structure, which is what I have right now, which is the dot retrace structure. I'll go through the setup with you one by one, but I want to show you, first of all, this is the hourly data set from this particular setup. And what you need to understand basically is, by the way, that like 9 a.m., where's my 9 a.m.? literally the worst time to trade this shit. So, which is why I'm trading it in my not in my funded accounts, but in my eval accounts. The only hour of the 24-hour cycle where this is the worst horrible strategy to trade is a 9 a.m. strategy. By 10 a.m., it gets a little bit better. Where's my 10 a.m.? 10 p.m. Where's 10 a.m.? 10 a.m. 10 a.m. is actually pretty good. It's about 84%, about $3 per trade on the expectancy ratio. And 11 a.m. is pretty good. The best hours to trade this is 12 to 3. This really, really produces like 88% trades. All of this data set that I have from you is from actual real trading, not from like, made up stuff. This is, what is this? Yeah, this is the raw data that you want to be looking at. Ignore this for a second, just this data set. But anyways, this is going to give you tremendous amount of confidence to trade. This is all, by the way, New York hours, and I'll make it UTC. I haven't had a chance to just change it to UTC, but this is all by New York hours. So just simply go off New York hours on when the optimal times are to trade this. And the setup is very, very simple. Very, very simple. What we're doing is we're trading all dots only in the direction of VWAP. So I'm only buying greens right now on a retrace basis. And the retrace basis means that I'm basically trying to buy 4 points under the close of the green dot, right? You can see, by the way, how bad it is during 9 o'clock hour. This failed, this probably is going to fail. So this is a horrible strategy to do right now in this 1 hour, but I'm going to show it to you because I want you to see the mechanics of it. Because when it gets to, and I'll tell you what I do, what I kind of do, I just go buy, and I basically just do a 2 type of an entry, first on the open and then on the retrace, and then try to see if we can actually, let me see if I can just actually make a little bit of money on this thing. So I just did this right now, right? We went, this is actually, what are we? Oh, we're 5 minutes to the open. So this is the white dot. I bought it on the retrace, right? And let's see if we can get this done on the exit. Now, I really, really recommend you guys do this only on your eval accounts, because this is a good time to practice that. See, boom, that resolved nicely as a trade. I'll go more. What the hell? I'll trade more. The rules are very, very simple. I want to buy the white dot on a retrace, right? Like right now, for 2 candles forward. So in other words, if I can't get the retrace move in 2 candles, I cancel the trade. I'm just trying to see if I can get another scalp over here to the upside. Again, I'm just fucking around here. Just trying to show you the mechanics of the move. Generally, what's going to happen is only 1 out of 4 dots is going to retrace enough to get you into an entry trade. So you can trade it by being very patient and just taking 1 out of 4 signals, or you can kind of take the opening trade and try to take the retrace trade and blend them out if you want. That's going to degrade your accuracy, but it's going to give you more trades. There's lots of different ways to do this. The point is that I wanted to put the data out there for you to understand that trading with trend on dot retrace is a very, very, very high probability trade, except for, of course, this hour. This is the worst time to do this. And it really creates tremendous opportunity. See, this trade like just completely died out. As I said, I really don't care because I'm doing this on an eval account. I'll do a couple of other type of setups with you guys on this eval account. And until 10 o'clock, I'm not doing any real trades. And that should be the rule of thumb for us. From 9 to 10 o'clock, literally the worst time to trade this. It was a very, very interesting discovery. And it really made me realize, why we were having such a hard time, because this is not a good time to trade. By the way, the best time to trade it, 12 to 3. So when we do I was going to do like the power hour of like, 1 to 2, but I think I might actually, do like a 12:30. I may do another session today, 12:30 to like 2 o'clock, and just try to trade that power hour session. That is the highest 88% probability session, and we're going to trade that to our heart's content. And we'll talk a little bit more about that today. I definitely want to do that today, maybe tomorrow. See how this just in the 9 o'clock hour, it retraces and comes back to target. So it's just just the nature of the beast. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So read the DOTS manual, please. It explains everything really, really well. I'm going to put the link in here. And remember that if you want all of these tools, you just simply need to get into coaching. Here's the link to coaching. Please come in. I'll also be explaining a lot of this stuff in wealth charts. Let me give you the wealth charts link. Where's my wealth charts link? Hold on a second. I'm going to be doing this Wednesday, 12 noon. Sorry, I just want to find my link here. Oh, we have a, so let me show you what I do here. I'm going to basically take the trade early, take the trade on a retrace, and try to blend myself in. This is only because it's actually not even giving me a dot. I took it way too early. Okay, let's see if this is going to give me a dot here. Okay, so I'm in the trade. Boom, boom, boom. That got done. I go back in. Where's this thing? Sorry, I'm just looking for my link. It's really annoying. All right, I'll find it a little bit later. Read the DOTS manual. That's why I wrote it, guys. All those questions about when, how to do it, it's all written in the manual. Okay, boom. That one gets done. Another dot. I'm just going to keep on trading these dots and try to catch them on the retrace as well. All right, let's see if this works. Third dot in a row. I'm just basically, I'm scalping the power moves over here. I'm having some issues with I don't know what's going on with my leave. Oh, look at this big move. Look at that big move. Leave. Sorry, I'm just having some issues with my mouse here for some reason. Yeah, market really, I think, feeling the love on the latest piece of news. Running London session highs, New York session highs. Let me just adjust the New York session highs in here. Europe should be 14, 30. I always forget this. It was the UTC. UTC is 0. So maybe it should be 13. No. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. I had to adjust my times. Goes to 13:30 because of the Chicago times. Okay. How do I avoid latency? I'm trading on wealth charts. You guys are seeing me a little bit on delay, so that's why I'm always narrating ahead of time what I'm going to be doing. But but I'm trading wealth charts or either Tradevate or wealth charts. We have the indicator working on both. I have no latency. Most of my trades take between a minute to 2 minutes to resolve, right? So I basically I took all of these green dots over here without any kind of retrace. I'm just kind of showing you that I was just fully running them. But as we get closer to 10 o'clock, I'm going to hopefully show you the retrace trade begin to work in earnest. And of course, to really see it in action, I'm going to show it to you this afternoon I'm going to do I think a 12:30 to 2 o'clock show today. So if you guys want to join me, we're going to do another one at that time. But it's a very, very simple process. I've turned all the indicators off except dots in a direction of trend. And all I need is green dot in direction of trend bought on a retrace. And what I'm buying is basically 4 off the close. So if it's 85, I'm trying to buy the 81s with a 5 target, 15 stop, right? Obviously, when you have high volatility news candles, that's impossible to do because you're going to get retraced out. But generally, if you're looking at the price action here, you can just see it very clean. Buy, buy, slip, buy, slip, buy, slip, all the time. We still remain positive bid. So now I'm just watching to see. We can get the next dot up. I wonder why I'm not getting. Oh, here we go. Okay, where are my dots? Here's my dot. So if you want to fool around a little bit, God, I'm having issues with my mouse. All right, I'm just going to enter 1 here. Boom, nice clean structure in. Enter here. So what I'm doing is boom, boom, boom. I'm just entering on the open, and then if it comes back down off the close around 3-4, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So here's a retrace trade, and it comes in a little bit lower. I'll try to buy another one, but you can see how many scalps I'm doing over here. I'm scalping continuously on this move here, and because I'm assuming that there's forward momentum, and every dip is an opportunity, for us to take advantage of that move. I did it on very, very small size here, but I could do it on bigger size if I wanted to. All right, I'm just going to keep on buying here. Anytime I'm seeing a small dip, I'm going to try to buy and see if I could resolve that trade. Now, eventually, you're going to get stuffed, and it's eventually going to start to go against you. But remember, in the back test, here we go. Let me see if this is going to get resolved. Come on, come on, come on. Yeah, there we go. So just to show you, this was like 6 or 7 or maybe 5 trades that were resolved right here. Boom, ba-boom, 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 right? All of them got resolved nice and quickly on the trade. And it's all that same principle. Breakout, retrace, resolve. Now, I did it like 4 or 5 times when in practice, in a proper structure, I should only do it once. And the rule that I tested over here is that we're entering, we're buying, and you have up to 2 candles to resolve it. They don't, Apex does not accept traders from Rwanda, but Ola Prime does. You can try our friends at Ola Prime. They will take those accounts. So no dots right now. We're just chilling, but we're above VWAP. We're just trading with trend. And again, next dot up, retrace down, we take it. Everybody understand what I'm doing? Does everybody see? How am I getting early in the dots? So Michael, I'm not really trading right now I'm trading dots early because I'm just experimenting. But the idea is no, I'm waiting for the dot close, retrace down, exit as the classic structure of trade. This is what I tested. This is where all the data is. You guys can look at that. I mean, I hope you really find it valuable. It gives you a tremendous amount of confidence because we're talking about 6,000 data sets, 1,000 trades done. Lots of data. There's 200-300 trades per each hour traded. So you should have a lot of confidence in that type of structure working for you. Let me know if you guys need the dot data again. I just, I published it on the link here. Hopefully everybody bookmarked it. All right, we're 10 minutes into the open. We tested the London highs, of course. We'll see what we want to do with London lows. Right now, just sitting here quiet, consolidating. Now, a trade I love to do, this trade actually works really well during 9 o'clock hour when you get it, is if you're positive trend, you're buying the dip. If you're negative trend, you're buying the rip. You're selling the rip. What you want is 3 lower low candles on the red. So this is one low. This one closes below this red candle. That'll be 2 low. If there's a third one that closes below the third one, you want to buy that one. You want to buy that one because that's like the absolute great buy the dip trade. But you need 3 of them to be lower. But you don't want to. You could do it like this 1, 2, 3, where it's just 3 red ones, but it's not as good as having 3, one lower than the next type of candle on the close, because that really, really helps you. So this is 2, and now if this one closes over here, right? If this is the close of the second red one, you can see the third one is already below the close, right? If this one closes over here, I'd want to be a buyer here. So we'll see. We've got 42 seconds left. I'm only trading dots in the trend direction so that you don't get confused. Okay, 9. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy it right there. Let's see if it's going to work for us. I'm coming a little bit early, and look how fast that was. Do you see how fast that resolved? You see how easy that was to resolve? Ba-boom, ba-boom, ba-boom. I could have come in with large size. I'm just doing a lot of sample trades for you guys today, but I could have come in this with like very large size. That is a very this setup tested really, really well in the 9 o'clock hour. It's interesting. In 9 o'clock hour, it's the mean reversion trades that work really, really well. And I guess it makes sense because the dealers are really moving the market. In the beginning, remember, in the first half hour, the dealers want to trigger the highs and trigger the lows so they can capture as much. What is that called? Liquidity sweeps. The bullshit, Gen Z term for running the stops. Liquidity sweeps. But dealers want to run stops. So this type of a trade really works well, especially in the direction of the trend, right? Because they just take the stops out and then bring it back up. You can make dots in both directions, but I'm using dots only in one direction, as I said. Anybody take that trade with me on the 3 dots down, or 3 candles down? Yes, no? The quick trade, right, Ben? Super quick and easy. Let's see if there's any news on the. Just looking to see if there's any news on the that's fresh, but not really. All right, so we're a little bit quiet. So it's interesting to see the hourly data, right, guys? Interesting to see when these setups really work, when they don't work, when they kind of work mildly. Basically, the big takeaways, they work really, really well 12 noon to 3 p.m. And also, I think like in Asia session, like early Asia session time, and during London, I believe. And those are optimal times. You can actually, where's my dots thing? Did I put it in here? Oops, no. It's dots, not docs. Okay. So this is a dots document. If you go to raw performance, right? I think we can actually do it by win rate, right? So we're 12 a.m. 1 to see early London and late Asia is like the best times. Look at this: 4 a.m., 8 p.m. Basically, everything 88 and above is 12, 1, 3, right? And then 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Those are really, really high times. 12 a.m. Really good, good times to trade. And pretty even distribution. It's about 100 trades in each one of those hours. So you have a lot of confidence. Yeah, Asia, you'd have to hold the position much longer. But it works. Who cares? You see that the London-New York interchange is really the worst. It's really interesting. All right, nothing much going on over here. No, I trade honestly, it's funny because this really opened up my eyes to when I should be trading. I love to trade all morning long, all day long, blah, blah, blah. But what you realize is that you're just wasting time. The best time to trade right now for me in my New York hours is 12 noon to 3 p.m. If I want to trade, early London hours, those are just fuck around trades that you want to put into your bullshit account. I traded Asia in this account, I believe. Which account was this? Oh, I was testing. This was an account that I was testing, right? Is this one? No, hold on. Which account did I trade? 68? It was 68. Yeah, 68. So this is an interesting, here, let me show you actually the trades last night from 68, because you'll find this interesting. Let me go to trades, and I want to go to the 68 account. Okay, so what you can see is that this is the 68 account. Sorry, I want to do it just yesterday. No, 19 to 20. Fuck, 19 to 20. Okay, yeah. So what you can see is that I'm just trading one, two sizes, right? Tiny little sizes, and I was able to do $100 in this account. This was all during primo Asia time. This was all essentially done around. Let me show you. When was this? Where's my dots thing? I was basically trading it yesterday. Oh, is this by a rank? Oh, this does a rank by the hour. I didn't even know this does rank by the hour. Was this 7? Yeah. So this is why I was doing well. I was doing 7 to 8 p.m. This is really cool. You can do it by the hour. I'll tell you which one of these is good. These were in the 80s, 90s. So 7, 8, 9, 10. This is exactly where I was this whole 4-hour period. Just trading one, I was able to do 100 nice and easy, which was very cool. All right, nothing much going on over here. If I want to fool around, red, lower close. If this one closes lower than this one, I would take it. It didn't quite do that, although I could have taken it. Let me see. Close. $32, and this one close $31. Yeah, I could have taken that one. You know what the hell? Let's just do. Why can't I take this? Oh, I'm in the 68 account. I don't want to do that. All right, I'm just futzing around. This is the mean reversion trade that I was telling you. See how and it got done very, very fast. You see that? Got done very, very fast. You took it while that's good. That's the trick, to take it while I'm talking. So this is actually an excellent 9 o'clock trade. This is the only trade we should be doing at 9 o'clock. So let me show you what this is. So you look at, we're looking for 3 reds, but each red needs to be lower than the prior red in order for us to trade the trade. So this is the first red, right? It closes 47. The second red closes 49, so we don't count it. The third red closes 32. We counted. The fourth red closes 31. We counted. We get long, and boom, we pop, right? Mean reversion, mean reversion, mean reversion. That's kind of like, that was the mantra for the 9 o'clock hour, right? Sell the highs, buy the lows. I guess you could have almost gone it the other way too here, but I don't want to go against trend. That's the whole idea. Here you have 87. Second green is 811. Third green is 804. So doesn't confirm the third one, but it does drop. But the only one I really want to do is buying the trend. So like over here, I think we did two trades. See, 1, 2, 3, buy here. 1, 2, 3, buy here. Both of the buys worked really, really nicely, right? And now we're getting a big white candle. So I buy on the close, and then I want to buy the retrace. And boom, the retrace gets done, and I can flatten out my close, right? So I just flatten out my close. A really, really good approach to this is what I would call the 1-2. You buy one at the top, and you buy twice as much on the bottom, so that you get a much, The idea is, if it's a runaway, you make a little bit of money to the upside. If it's a retrace where you have a lot of confidence, this is still a shitty hour. So I'm still doing it in the eval account. But in a regular account, you make money if it's a runaway, and you have a high degree of confidence that you're going to make money if it's a retrace, right? I haven't done that. I haven't done the because I really haven't been able. It's hard for me to test on intra bar things, so I don't have any data on it. I'm taking it early, but I think it's fine. I think it's actually pretty much equal, in a sense that sometimes it gets you into a good price, sometimes it forces a retrace. I don't think it's marginally better. I think it's pretty equal. So I don't think, you're really getting the edge in all of this is actually in doing the retrace. The retrace and trend is where the edge really, really plays out. It's like right now, here, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to go to 2 size. And if it comes back down into like 5 below the close, all right, boom. I bought more on the retrace here. Let's see if my retrace works. And the retrace works. You see that? That's a technique that I really want to do much more of with you guys. I guess I could probably, and honestly, you know what I can do? Easier way of doing this within wealth charts. This is at 2. I can just buy this at market. I don't even have to do the, because this is the way to do it. I'm going to show this to you because this way I don't have to change size. I keep this size at 1. I keep my retrace. So let me show you what I want to do. Watch this. Let's see if we can do this. So 16 seconds left. This thing holds a green dot. I'm going to go long at market. And then if it retraces, I'm going to come in with 2 size on the retrace. So 3, 2, 1, long at market, and then see if it comes back down against, like, boom. Okay, I bought the retrace. See if I can make myself an entry. Adjust my stops and targets. See if this works. Maybe flatten out. All right, flatten out, whatever. Still trying to get the technique of this down, but the idea is, and I probably should have given myself a little bit more room on the retrace. But let's do this again one more time. Let's just try one more time on this whole thing. All right, I'm buying market, and I'm just going to wait for it to come back down here, and then come back down here. See if I can make the target. I don't think this one's going to work, which is natural because it's still the 9 o'clock hour. But again, the technique that I'm just going to flatten out on this thing, whatever. Technique that I want to do definitely is the right technique, which is in, down, up. I bought myself a little bit too early on the down. You want to be as patient as possible on the downside, but we'll give it a shot. See if we get another green dot going, and I'll give you another example of what I have in mind. This was also as I was trading it, I was like, oh, I really shouldn't have done this, but I'm just trying to show you techniques right now. This was like the 4th consecutive green dot. You obviously want to do it. I like to do it on the first 3 dots and then stop. I tested this on very raw data with no parameters, no filters whatsoever, except just giving myself entry, 2 candle wait. If it doesn't happen, just cancel a trade, and that worked really, really well. So if you add even a little bit more of a filter, I think it'll work even better. All right, we actually have a red candle. Maybe we have one more red candle, second red candle. Maybe we get a third red candle. We can do the little dip buy. We'll see. So this candle close was 81. The second close was 83, so it doesn't count. So this now becomes the second candle, which is 72. If we get a third candle that's lower than the 72 close, we'll try to buy that one. All right. Third candle. If this stays anywhere near here, that gives a chance to buy. A big drop. Nope, doesn't look like it. We got hit a sell-off. Looks like we're turning back the trend, completely turning around on us. All right, let me look at the up to my dots thing. Oh, here's my dots. Let's look at the 10 o'clock hour. 84%, 115 trades. It's the 9th best hour. It's not a bad hour to trade, right? It's about mid range. Let's say if you wanted to trade the top 6 hours. Top 6 hours: 1, 3 a.m., 3, 8, 4 a.m., 11 a.m. 11 a.m. is a good hour. 10 a.m. is just halfway through. Okay. We're in a deep sell-off, so I don't know if we're going to get any green dots here for a while. So we'll see if we can get one more trade going off here. We're trying to consolidate around the VWAP, a little bit higher low over here. Market trying to hold it, but there's nothing else going on here. Apex has a 90% sale. Yes, it's ends tomorrow, so don't forget. Make sure you get some Apex accounts. All right, quiet trade. Nothing much going on here. We're just consolidating. I'm just playing around trying to see if I can buy the VWAP here. This is not any kind of a legitimate trade, but just fooling around because we got nothing else going on here. And the VWAP bounce works a little bit. We've had about a, what is this? 10 minute sell-off, right? Just like normal. 10 to 15 minute sell-off after. It's actually, one of the things that I really kind of want to study is average positive slice and then, corrective slice that we have. Usually it's about a 10-minute slice, right? Before we get any kind of upside action. All right, this closes on a white dot. I'm going to come in on the close and then try to buy the retrace. If it doesn't, then I got nothing. Doesn't close on a dot, so no trade. quiet trade. We don't have any. We're not taking any counter trend trades, so we're just waiting to see if we get any green dots here, or if the trend starts to break the VWAP. At which point we're going to go negative. All right, tested the VWAP again. But look at how many times we tested the VWAP. That would have been a good trade. Oh, big rally. 40 seconds left, so a long time to go before this dot needs to hold. No trade yet. No trade. Mark, the shorts just keep killing the rallies, and we're not going to follow them until they hold the rallies. See if there's any new news here yet. I don't think so. Blah blah blah. Yeah, New York low is here. All right, we seem to be consolidating, guys. I'm going to run a little bit early today because I want to get ready for the 12:30 session today, when hopefully we get a little bit of good afternoon flow. Maybe we'll even get some headline news. We'll see. As we'll see if the Iranians show up. But this is I actually like. I don't know if I know it's a very serious matter, but it really was almost comical at like. It's like an absurd. It's like a. Oh my God, what's his name? Who wrote Waiting for Godot? Oh my God, I'm losing my mind. Beckett. It's like a Beckett play, you know? Like, do we know if they're coming to the talks? We don't know if they're coming to the talks. Do we know who we're going to be talking to? We don't know who we're talking to. It's literally like it's like a theater of the absurd in some ways, you know? Because of just the nature of the beast. So, you know, we'll see what happens. As far as the flow goes, yeah, the V, you know, buying the VWAP has just been the absolute trade here, and you know, that's been the right trade. So we'll see. You know, we haven't had a dot in the last like 20 minutes. That's why we haven't had a trade. So I'm just waiting here patiently for that this. Yeah, they're playing the Monty Python night. Yeah, no, that's also true. But like, I really, it does feel like a theater of the absurd. I love the fact that, you know, we're going to the talks. We don't know if they're going to show up. If they don't, we're going to bomb them. It's like, you know, it is kind of a crazy situation. Anyways, we'll see how it goes. Let's all come back 12:30 in a couple of hours. Let's see if then I'm going to trade my funded accounts. Looks like we're giving up the VWAP here. Maybe we're going to go negative. At which point we just flip it around. On the negative, you know, you sell the rips. You know, you sell the retraces. Same idea. There's just a lot more positive. There was just a lot more upside trades in the back test because it was generally an upside channel. But you know, we'll see how it plays out on the negatives. They were both equidistant as far as accuracy. The shorts and the longs were pretty evenly distributed as long as you were at the right time of the day. That was the biggest takeaway. Single biggest takeaway is that session or hour of the day matters the most for accuracy, then trend, and and then momentum. All right, guys, I see you a little bit later. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I'll see you at 12:30 today. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.